Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel once again. This is Ajwa here, yours truly Mama Cute. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian YouTuber based here in the UK. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for always coming back. We love you. And if you're a newbie on the channel, kindly do subscribe if you haven't yet. What are you waiting for? Like what yes. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my Papa Cute here. Mr. Arthur is here to grace the channel once again. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched the video we did together, our first video together, kindly do check it out. And yeah, today, as you can see from the title, we are going to have a story time of how I went through an ectopic pregnancy. Yes, and by God's grace, I came out alive. Yes. I should start.
I'll just add up to it.
You always say I should start. Yes. So, okay. So, on this fateful day, hey, see, once upon a time.
Time.
Oh my goodness. On this fateful day, and before I even start, I had a baby. Not too long. My first girl was almost a year, and for her I had a 2 normal births, and this was totally unplanned. This pregnancy I'm going to talk about was totally unplanned. We didn't see it coming. Yeah, so we slept off like usual, and I had a bad dream which woke me up. Do you remember? Yeah, so I had a terrible dream that I didn't see the person's face, but I saw a hand, and the hand looked quite wrinkled. That made me realize that, oh, so whoever the person was an old person. Yeah, and it felt like a female. Yeah, so I just felt a hand going inside me and pulling something out like a fetus, and there was blood all over the hand, and myself, I was full of blood and all that. And the only thing that I remember I did was shout. I woke up with the name of Jesus. Like I screamed out of my dream. I just woke up saying Jesus. So Happy woke up and was like, what's wrong with me? And we just had a little prayer and slept off again. So when I woke up, the first thing I did was I got up from the bed and I was checking myself like, am I bleeding? It was so real. It was that real. So when Habi asked and I explained to him and we just prayed, we didn't even take that prayer seriously. It was like one of those things like you have a normal bad dream and you just say 1 or 2 lines and doze off again. So the next that morning, waking up was painful. It became painful because all of a sudden I felt this sharp pain on my right side. That was like a locking pain because my body was like this. I couldn't move, and it was strange. Out of nowhere, that was what happened. It was like something that happened in a dream that manifested physically. So I was struggling with this pain, and it was getting intense. I was like, should we go to the hospital? I was like, oh, me there, you know me, I can endure pain. It will go, it will, fade off and all that. I was giving excuses. I thought it was one of those things. Like me myself, I can take a whole lot of pain in my body. So I didn't take it so serious. Even though it was serious, I didn't take it so seriously. And I didn't even think at the time. I didn't know I was pregnant. Did I?
No,
I didn't know I was pregnant because it was quite in the early days of the pregnancy. So I think I didn't know I was pregnant. So I didn't even relate it to pregnancy or anything. It was like just waking up from a bad dream. Yeah. So I think kept on, giving me wahala throughout that day. And I can't remember, there was a pressing pain or pressure in my waistline. Like when you're going, those who have given birth naturally, you know, when you are in labor, the way it presses you, like you feel like you want to poo, but it's not actually poo. It's the baby that is pushing, pressing on your, I don't know, waist or whatever, your pelvic. Hey, my God, pelvic. So this thing I'm saying now, I am laughing. It wasn't. It was nowhere close to laughing.
We were laughing, but
yeah, it was nowhere close to laughing. Like laughing at the square. So this pressing pain was like I wanted to poo. Oh my God! I kept on doing this. Like the pain was excruciating. If you talk about. So I was struggling. I went to the washroom trying to. And I stayed there for a very long time. I was like crying. I was like in serious pain. So just I want to forward everything because this will I'm sure it's going to take a whole lot of time. So the poo finally came. Excuse me if you are eating or anything, but this is like what happened. It's my life story. So this thing came and it came like just in bits and it was very black, like what I'm wearing now. It was very dark. So that became alarming. I called her behind, came to see him, I was like, what's happening? Should we go to the hospital? Once again, I'm like, my old me, let's hold on. I'm sure it's going to go away. So fast forward to the next day. Mind you, I went through so much pain through that day till the next day. And I slept in that pain for the next day, right? And then the next day, the locking that was like this. So my body has become like this because this side of my body was like machine clamped together like that. So that's the pain that I was going through. So I remember during the day I was feeling suddenly very, very hot, and hubby started fanning me. Like I was taking off my clothes. I wanted to sleep. That time where we were living, we had terrazzo porch. So I just took off all my clothes and lied on the floor, and he was just fanning me with anything that he could see. Then all of a sudden, just in a few seconds or minutes, I started feeling cold, extra cold again, very, very cold. And the next thing I remember, you said I fainted, I collapsed, right?
I went off a bit.
So okay.
Yeah, so
that part you remember that
she went
part.
off a bit. I had to get
what
some
do you mean
cold.
by went off?
You went off. You weren't conscious.
So it means I fainted. I collapsed.
Yeah. So I had to. I mean, I was really spooked at the time, so I just had to get some water, and cold water actually, and I mean, I washed her face, and even that she came around, but it wasn't like, I mean, she wasn't conscious. It was like she was just I mean, unawares of what was really going on, and at the time she didn't even know she had passed out. So I just had to, I mean,
I don't
quickly,
remember that.
Yeah, quickly. I mean, because at the time the next option was just hospital. Because I mean, I couldn't do anything. I didn't even know what to do at the time. So I just made a quick phone call to my mom, and then I told her what had happened, and then I just took her to the hospital.
No.
What?
Wait. This was a day before we went to the hospital.
No.
See, I was not in favor of hospital that day that I collapsed. We still didn't go to the hospital. This was the second day of this whole buhahau. So you've forgotten. The next day, I went through the pain. I woke up finally later. And I thought I just slept off or something. And he later explained something. But I mean, I didn't even take that serious. I was like, it will still go away. So the next morning, now I woke up. The first thing, like when I opened my eyes, I said, babe, now I'm ready. Let's go to the hospital. Because now the pressing pain, that poo thing wanted to start again. It had started again. And now I struggled again. And then my poo turned out black. Very dark this time. So when I came out, I was like, now I'm ready for us to go to the hospital. Because now I feel, when I'm walking, I can't walk by myself. It's like I have to get the support of a wall, the wall to walk. So I was like this, and I was like attached to the walls for the walls to assist me to walk. So when I came out and I was like, now I'm really in pain. I can't take it anymore. So let's go to the hospital. So I told you, remember that doctor that took care of me during Erase's pregnancy. I had like a personal contact with him, so anytime he sees my calls, he tries to make out time for me. So I was like, I've forgotten his name now, crap. So let's assume the doctor is Dr. Asari. I was like, let's call Dr. Asari and book an appointment that we are coming in. And he started calling from home. We picked a cab, we went to the hospital. The doctor wasn't picking. So when we got to the consultation area, he was like, I was now giving my husband so much pressure. I was like, he went there first and he was like, there are a lot of people before in front of his door waiting to go in. And I was like, I don't care, like what I'm going through, I can't sit here and wait. So he should just try and go inside and talk to the doctor or something. He goes and comes back and with excuses and all that. And I'm like, So the doctor picked up the call and he was like, oh, he has a couple of patients to take care of, so we should hold on a bit. So that was the time that I felt like eating something. Then I was also giving my husband pressure to bang at the doctor's door, like anything at all he could do to get the doctor's attention to me, he should do it whilst I go grab something to eat. So he went, and I don't think he even knew I went to the washroom again. Now I had to go and queue for, like, to go to the hospital washroom, use the washroom there. And that one, the pool, because I was still having that pressing pool, whatever. So I went there and the pool was like blacker than black. Yeah. So from that side, I was like, oh, let me go and grab something. And people were staring at me because here is I'm walking like this and I'm leaning on the walls and all that. People were just staring at me. I didn't even give a damn. Like, I saw an orange seller, a tangerine seller. And when I took that tangerine, the first bite, the liquid that entered my tummy started twitching. Like, my intestines were like rolling around. Like I said, oh my God, I felt like I was going to collapse again. So I started screaming there in the canteen. People were watching me. And I had to struggle and come back to where Habi was, because I didn't think he knew where I was or something. I don't know whether he called me and I was like, so he came to meet me on the way. And now he was like, the doctor says I should hold on a bit. So now I was shouting at my husband. I was like, he should just take me to the office. I'm sure when he sees me. So we just went inside, because what I was going through, like, guys, oh my God. Whoever has gone through ectopic pregnancy, like, God saved you and you are still alive, and God has saved you, you have to be grateful, because it wasn't easy. So at the sight of me, like, in the office, as soon as we entered, the doctor even looked pissed. He was like, why would you enter my office without me? Yeah, so, but as soon as he saw me and what I was going through, I think that time I already started bleeding. I think I was having spots, but I wasn't really bleeding, flowing. So he hadn't seen what was going on down there, but like on the look of my face, he was like, just go and lie down. So when he came to see me on that bed, the doctor's office, they have this partition in the office and the bed is behind the curtains. So when I was lying on there, he came to see me. As soon as he came, like, I laid on the bed, then it was like open tap of blood. The blood started oozing out, like coming. Now I was like almost out of my senses. So he came to do some few tests, inserted certain things, and he was watching on his computer. And now I wasn't hearing what he was whispering to his other doctor. He had an assistant doctor then, and all I heard that he said for me to my hearing was, go call this other doctor. And that name of the doctor, and when I hear that name, it scared me. When I heard that name, it scared me, because I knew that he was the senior most doctor at the time in the clinic, in the hospital. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? This person wasn't also telling me anything. And he started shouting at my husband. Yeah, don't you know your wife could have died? When did this start? And you were keeping her in the house for what? Like, oh, my man, left, right, center. So this senior most doctor came, and he came to see what was happening to me. The blood was like, the bed was full of blood, and he was like, this is what, the only thing I heard them saying to each other was like, isn't that the same case we had last week? That woman, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what's happening? Then the next thing the doctor said is, prepare for theater. And I'm like, theater. So the thing came out of my mind like, theater. And he was like, do you want to die? That's what the doctor told me. The senior. He was like, do you want to die? So when he said that, he was like, he's not going to even tolerate anything I had to say again. So they just rolled me off for prep for the theater. And come and see this nurse that me myself, I'm terrified of going into the theater because I haven't even gone close to the theater door before. This nurse was prepping me, and he had to take, if you are going into the theater, you have to take every jewelry you have, earrings, rings, whatever. And if you have nail polish on your nails, your toenails, they have to clean it off. And I didn't know why she was struggling to take it off. So I was like, since she's not even getting anything to take off the nail polish, can't I go in like that? And they have to also shave you down there, So she did all that, but the nail polish was simply not coming off because she didn't have the right whatever to clean it. So I asked her, can't I go in without it? And she was like, if I go in without it and I'm dying, how would the doctor see that I'm dying? So when she said that cry there, she spoiled my matter. I'm like, oh God. So I started praying in my head. They prepped me. They, wheeled me. Whilst they were wheeling me to the theater, oh my goodness, I was like, I have only seen these things in movies. They took me into the theater. Happy there. He was carrying my baby then. Right? Eresi. He was just, how were you feeling?
I was lost though. After the doctor said what they said, I felt a bit useless actually, because it's like you're just standing there. People who are supposed to do whatever they are doing stuff. They're not really, and at that time
they weren't even communicating with us or anything, because they felt like it was an emergency.
So I was standing in the doorway. I couldn't even.
Like we didn't have any choice.
Exactly. So I see them going and coming, and I'm like, what is going on? I asked the doctor. Even the doctor, he wasn't. That's the head doctor. He wasn't even responding. It was one of the junior doctors who was like, "You get back to me. You get back to me." The nurses too were up and down,
and you were not even feeling well because you had come back from Nigeria.
Exactly.
So he wasn't even feeling well. He was even limping.
It was an experience, and it was bad. Actually. It
was so bad. Like when I got into the theater and saw all the white walls, oh my God, and the machines. Hey, I got so scared. I started saying my last prayer because I thought I wouldn't make it out of that place.
Because like she was saying, I was limping. When I came back from Nigeria, I felt sick, and at the hospital, I don't know, but one of the injections they gave me, affected my right leg. So I was really limping at the time, and I had to carry our firstborn to Eresi, and she was quite heavy at the time too. So it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. And inside there, guys, what's happened? I think my system doesn't normally react fast on anesthetic when it's given to me. So this process also became horrifying for me, because they did that thing at my back to numb me on my lower side, and it took ages. I wasn't responding to it, because when they pinch me, when they say lift your leg up, I was lifting quite well. And the man the doctor who was doing that was in charge. They have doctors for every part of your body when you go to the surgical ward. Like those who are going to operate on you are this side, whoever is taking care of you, whoever is looking at. So this person who was in charge of doing that kept on like, but why are you not responding to it? Why, are you playing with us, or are you just joking? And now 2 minutes or are you feeling over pampered or something? That's why he kept on telling me. I'm like, you don't know what is happening to me. Why are you talking like that? And I was like, because they've done it and they are working with time. In the theater, it's like no time for any ABR. Like he was expecting that I would just respond, my body would just get numb as soon as he did the thing that he did, and I wasn't getting there. And he was ushering the doctor who was going to operate on me, and the doctor too was a white person, and he was also speaking our local dialect with me. And this doctor didn't have any idea what we were talking about. So he was just pulling out his tools, getting ready to come and, cut me. So when I saw the knife coming close to my body, because he was this one who was numbing me, was giving the doctor go ahead that, oh, he should just start cutting. That, oh, I am fine. So when the doctor, and I shouted when I saw the knife coming close to my body. I just I just held the doctor's hand. I slightly pushed his hand like this, like, no, I'm still feeling my body alive, like it's not there yet, so they should take their time. And he was like, what is happening? So this thing started pinching me very, very hard, and I was like, I can still feel it. I can still feel everything that they are doing. I can feel the pain I was going through still, and whatever. So I think he didn't. On one dream, I was also crying. I saw him injecting something into my infusion, and I think I went off. So it took how many hours? Do you remember? Because I went early in the morning, but I came out very late.
It took quite a while.
I didn't come out early. I didn't come out. I think they had struggles with me, because when I even came out, the infusions, the drips that they had given me I think they couldn't find any vein on my body. So they said the only vein they could find, they struggled to find. And this, I got the information from the doctor who came to look after me, who came to see to me the next day. He was like, the only vein we could find in your body was the one on your ankle. Oh, my alarm is going off. The only vein they could find on my body they struggled to find was around my ankle. So the drip or the infusion, the needle was in my ankle. That's how bad my experience was. Like, I could have just died, guys. I could have just died, because I went through, should I say, 2 or 3 days of pain, severe pain. Yeah, 2 days without being in the hospital, at home, and I was just struggling with the pain on my own, which was very silly of me. Nobody should ever try that. The least thing that you feel in your body that is not sitting right with you should definitely seek medical attention. I was so stubborn-headed. Like, I'm still stubborn-headed when it comes to pain. But I learned my lesson. I learned a big lesson that day, because I could have just died. The doctors were terrified, because at the point, an ectopic pregnancy, whoever doesn't know the meaning of it or doesn't know what it is having, conceiving, and instead of, when you conceive, the baby normally comes from your ovaries. If I'm not, this is not professional talk. So your ovaries through your fallopian tube into your womb. So the fallopian tube serves as a passage, like a road that leads the baby from your ovaries into your fallopian tube. And this fallopian tube on my right side was damaged. Like, the baby it didn't pass through it into the womb. It started rather growing in the tube. So the tube, is tiny like this. So imagine if a whole baby, starts developing in that tube, it's going to definitely burst. And that's what happened to me. So it's like a pipeline that has a leakage, and it was a big leakage. Pipelines, if it has a leakage, what does it do? The water starts splashing out. So that was the blood that was flowing out of my system uncontrollably. Yeah, so that's what I went through. And I also learned when I did my researches, and from the little that the doctors also told me, because I kept on asking questions when I came back into being, and they were like, oh, if people take so much, it can just happen normally on a normal day. If you're not lucky with your pregnancies, it can't happen without all these is it courses or whatever precautions taken. Am I speaking sense? So if you have in your past, if you had so many abortions, or if you are someone who is always taking pills, like contraceptive pills, too much, it can also cause that when you finally want to have pregnant, like you want to finally have a baby, and it's like different causes. So these things, I'm like, why is it happening to me? Because just like I said before, it can happen on a normal day without you going to an abortion, without you taking pills and all those things. So Like that is that. Yeah. So if you are someone who normally take these things, I am sure you have to really, you shouldn't take it on your own without medical advice. Yeah. So you have to take it like like consult your doctors first if you want to start family planning. Like, yeah. So that is about it. What I went through that night when I came out of the theater, only God knows. I'm God. Hey, on God, only God knows. Only God knows. The pain. Oh my God. I have another video that I'm going to shoot, telling you about my CS after this ectopic pregnancy. So yes, I have one fallopian tube, but okay guys, like in the beginning I was scared that I wouldn't be able to have another baby, but yeah, I have my son now. Glory be to God. Yeah, so you can still have babies with fallopian tube. It's a percentage of women that can have babies. With some it's like, but I was lucky. I was part of the lucky ones to have another baby through my ectopic pregnancy, after my ectopic pregnancy experience. So I want us to also, you know, take good care of ourselves. Like, be conscious of your body. Women, you have to be very conscious of your body. You have to also, is it time your pregnancies? Like, oh, because this happened because we also didn't know. Maybe there was something that we didn't do right when I conceived. Because if you had known that I was pregnant, maybe there were one or two things that I could have stayed away from, or, you know, I don't know what really happened. If it was also spiritual, because this thing came through my dream, and my dreams are also like on point like that. So I don't know whether it was spiritual. If it was, then glory be to God. Whoever was doing me didn't get me, even though I had to go through it, but it didn't get me. Yes, and I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I've had another baby after that. Yeah, so if it was also medical, it was also something I wasn't doing right physically. Like, all thanks to God that now I know what I have to do.
You know better.
Yeah, I know better. So yeah, this is our little story, and I hope you like our story time together again. Our first story time was when he met me. So you guys, if you haven't watched that video, please go and click on that video and watch. It was quite interesting, and we still have follow-up videos to do after he met me and we started dating. Like, what transpired, the heartbreaks.
I'm not serious.
The heartbreaks and all, like, it's interesting, and we've learned from all those things. And I said in that video that definitely you will learn one or two. Yeah, so stay tuned and stay glued to this channel, because we have amazing stuff for you. Yeah, so this is another moment you've had with me, Ajwa. If you did like this video, kindly give a big thumbs up, and yeah, see you in the next video. What's up, guys?
Bye.
Hey. Bye.
Yeah, we are done.
We are done. Oh my God. Close my video for me.
So guys, yeah, like you heard it all. Thanks for sharing this moment with us. I trust that you've taken a cue from all of this, and the most important thing is, I mean, there's nothing too small to take for granted. So yeah, no matter what it is, a headache, maybe a headache, but then there could be something hiding behind it. No matter what it is, I mean, it wouldn't cost you anything to get a professional opinion, a second opinion about it, because I don't think your life is worth the risk.
Yeah.
And that's what we took from this experience. And because I quite remember at a point when she was in the theater room, I was asking myself, so what if my wife doesn't come out again? And I'm just stuck with my baby girl. So, I mean, for me, that was I mean, a real taking point. So thanks for.
And the lesson that you should also, or I'm sure you learned, was anything that it needs like attention, you wouldn't even listen to me. You just, because if you knew better, you should have just bundled me up and taken me to the hospital earlier before we did. Yeah, so maybe it wouldn't have even resulted into,
it wouldn't have gotten that far,
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing this moment with us. Like, we're so grateful for having you, and we want to be seeing more of you, and you'll definitely be seeing more of me too. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, hit the notification button, share with your friends, and yeah, we'll be having more nice moments.
And good energy always, guys. Good energy. Always stay positive. Bad energy, like, move yourself far away from it. Yeah, and this video is quite a long one, but it's an educational video, so please watch everything to the end. Watch my art if it comes on, and continue being with us and supporting us. Thank you so much. You will see you in another video. It's bye from us. Bye.